there's a relatively new technique called PDTR. It was invented by this Argentinian surgeon. This guy's kind of a wild guy. He grew up in a very rich family. He is I think, jujitsu master, and he's an orthopedic surgeon. So, people have issues like with mobility or something's broken. And he's doing surgery on them. And he realized that about a third of the time he cuts somebody open, there's nothing wrong. But surgery itself is damaging you. And so in his head, he's like, I have to stop doing this. I'm like cutting people open who think they have I think they have an issue. And it turns out when I get in there, there's nothing wrong. And now I've damaged this person. And so he developed PDTR. It's kind of crazy term. It stands for proprioceptive deep tendon reflex. So if you see somebody practice PDTR, it seems like voodoo magic, because literally they're like, say you can't lift your arm or something. He'll come up to you and he'll do some tests, and then he'll be like, boop, 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 boop. And then all of a sudden you can move your arm. And it seems like, okay, how is that real, right?
But wait, hasn't he flick some other part of your body?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't even do much. Like pull your ear, scratch your forehead, and all of a sudden you can move your arm. And you're like, how does that work? Right? I mean, this guy literally takes people who are in a wheelchair and can't walk and gets them walking in 5 minutes. For me, one of the main times that I did PDTR was after my accident. I couldn't sort of bend over and touch my toes anymore. And everybody tells you, oh, your hamstrings are tight. Stretch your hamstrings, get some massage. And it turns out that wasn't the problem. When PDTR, at first they do like a diagnostic test, right? And so the guy tests me, and it takes about an hour. We're kind of figuring out what's going on. He's doing muscle tests and things like that. And eventually he fixes it, and I can bend all the way down and put my hands on the ground. And I'm like, okay. He didn't do any massage. He didn't do any stretching, just a bunch of like weird popping and poking and pulling and things like this. And I'm like, what was going on? And so this is where the proprioceptive part of it comes in. Proprioception is a few things. It's your body's understanding of where you are in physical space. Okay. And so somebody like Michael Jordan has incredible proprioception, okay? And a lot of your proprioception is in your fascia, right? We were talking about all this fascia that covers everything, because your fascia is incredibly innervated. It has tons of nerves in it. And so your understanding of where your foot is right now is basically coming from your fascia, okay? And so proprioception is, where am I in physical space? It's also your sense of pain, your sense of touch, your sense of heat, your sense of cold, okay? And all of these have different nerve endings, right? So this is touch. I can feel this. This is a different nerve than the pain nerve, and it's a different nerve. It's a different nerve ending than the cold, right? So even though like the nerve endings are different, the pathways they use are all the same.
Gotcha.
Okay? And so PDTR sort of takes advantage of this. And it turns out that like a lot of times when you have trauma, whether it's physical trauma or emotional trauma, your body remembers it, okay? And so in PDTR, what they're trying to do is figure out why does my body not want to do this? So in my case, where I couldn't bend over anymore, right? It turns out that the way he explained it is like, look, it's not that your hamstrings were tight and you couldn't bend over. It's your body is so intelligent, right? For some reason, probably because of the trauma of your accident and the surgery and all these things, every time you tried to bend over, your body stopped you from doing it. And how did it do that? It tightened your hamstrings. Okay? And so in a sense, you think, oh, my hamstrings are tight. Yeah, but not chronically tight. Your own body's intelligence is like, don't let this guy bend over, because it didn't have the confidence to bring me back up. And so it's like, I'm not even going to let him bend over. Okay? And so through the PDTR work, they can basically tell your body, chill out. It's okay. Everything's fine. And you stand up and touch your hands onto the ground. So going back to the yoga point, right? Yoga is working on this nervous system, this proprioception system that your body has. And, yoga is just wild and amazing, right? It's like doing neurological things, it's doing organ things, it's doing fascia and mobility things. There's a reason it's stuck around this long, right? There's a reason there's so many people obsessed with it, right? And so there's a reason that it's spread all over the world.
So many tangents to take. When I started doing yoga, I got much better at football because I was in control of my body.
Of course, yeah. Your proprioception improved.
Yeah, the fascia was getting worked. I saw a lot of football training pages where they spoke about sprint speed, and they said that even that's related to your fascia.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So I think in terms of athletic capabilities, the fascia isn't spoken about in the mainstream as much as it should be spoken about.
Yeah, that's right.
But the thing is, it's important for people who are not pro athletes as well.
Oh, it's important for everybody.
Right?
Yeah. Your fascial health is probably more important than your muscle health, more important than just about anything, because it's your whole body is covered in it. Every organ, every muscle, every bone.
And maybe we haven't done enough scientific research on the fascia to even understand what it helps with.
Yeah, it's. I think more recently people are getting into fascial work. There's a whole other esoteric practice I can talk about if you want to that also involves fascia. It's called Eldoa. This is something it's actually like been around for a couple of decades, but still most people don't know about it. It's a French method. I call it scientific yoga. Because there's actually a lot of moves in Eldoa that are like in yoga. There's one that I use a lot. So sometimes I'll get this pain that kind of comes down my shoulder, my arm all the way here. It's because something's getting pinched back here, right? And the Eldoa move for this, tell me if this doesn't look like yoga, is you start here, okay? You go here, you pull your wings up, and then you go up like this, okay? And what that's doing is creating separation in a specific vertebrae, and it's creating decompression. And the way it's doing it is with your fascia. What's cool about Eldoa is there is a movement to basically create decompression in any joint in your body. And some of them are very weird. Like this is the most normal looking one. Some of them are very strange and difficult to get into. And you can find somebody who can teach you. But it's also using fascia as a sort of hack. What it does is by sort of holding your body in a certain way, you're pinching off your fascia. So when you do this one, you're supposed to be sitting down on the floor with your legs crossed. The idea is like you want to sort of pinch all the fascia up here, you want to pinch all the fascia down here, and then create separation at that joint. And so you're kind of using your fascia as almost like like you almost imagine like wrapping a towel around something and so that you could pull it apart, right? So that's also using fascia to do sort of therapy. And I'm telling you, like this move, when this used to get bad, I would for months be in just excruciating pain. Level 9 pain, level 10 pain, just couldn't sleep, just misery, right? I can do that 3 times in one day and it's gone.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.